This is a blue chip stock. Let me explain. Hello, my name is Talton Robertson, and I enjoy collecting Pokemon cards, specifically sealed Pokemon cards. And in today's video, I'm going to be explaining how this is just like a blue chip stock, and we're going to take a look at the last three eras of Pokemon from Sun and Moon all the way through Scarlet and Violet. We're going to look at the booster boxes and their prices and how they've appreciated in value and what makes these so desirable to sealed collectors. All right, let's jump in it. All right, we're in my computer. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the definition of a blue chip stock. So I'm on Wikipedia here, and we can see a blue chip stock is a capital stock of a stock corporation with national reputation for quality, reliability, and the ability to operate profitably in both good and bad times. So this essentially just means it's a it's a corporation that you're investing in that generally does well through the thick and the thin of it all. These are companies like McDonald's, Amazon, Walmart. There's a ton of these companies out there. Pretty much anything that's like in the top 100 country or corporations in the world on the stock market, they're all pretty much blue chip stocks. And so I have here a Paldea Evolved booster box. And believe it or not, at one point you could buy these for 95 $90 on the low end, and yeah, they are now $200. And it hasn't been that long. And in today's video, we're going to essentially compare all of the different booster boxes from the last three eras. So I'm going to bring up TCG Player, and we're going to start with the Scarlet and Violet era and work backwards. Alright, so first up we have Surging Sparks booster box. This is the most recent booster box that has been released before this video. And so this was the one that kind of started the entire bull market. When this released, sellers were not used to products selling out instantly. And so at this time, everyone realized there's a lot more hype for this type of product. Just in general, Pokemon, from the release of Surging Sparks through Prismatic and now coming into Journey Together, the demand has been crazy. And it'll probably stay kind of crazy for the remainder of this year. That's just what it is. But if we take a look at it, we'll look at the 1 year chart. So it'll show us every bit of data. And I'm not sure what day it got released, but this product you could have got for right around $100 at the lowest point. So if you were looking to get this right around release for $100, you could have got it. And then as it released, it has done nothing but climb. And so now we're sitting at approximately $250. And so if you would have bought at 100 today, you would be sitting on like 150% gains. And so that would be an excellent product. And so we're going to see this general reoccurrence on all the booster boxes. Now the charts may not all look the same, but you will notice that most of these are going to rise over time. And some sets rise faster than others. So in my personal opinion, if you buy one from each set, that's the same thing as investing as in an index fund. You're changing how much risk you have because you're not betting it all on one set. So let's go to the next set. Now we've got Stellar Crown pulled up. Now this one's not going for nearly as much. You were looking at 250 on Surging. This one is right at 165, 170. And so that's basically MSRP. You can still get this at MSRP. But when it first came out, I mean, on the year chart, you can see it had a little bit of pre-sale for, a little bit above wholesale, but then right here, you're getting down in the $100 mark. You're not making any money on wholesale here. I mean, after fees and shipping, you're basically breaking even. So there's a bunch of people here breaking even on this product. And then this is probably about when Surging Sparks came out, and then boom, demand skyrocketed. And so on this one, you would be up about 60% if you bought down here at the low point. You can see there are some sales for like 95. There's a $90 sale. That's cheaper than what I can buy them for at wholesale. So that is an incredible price if you were paying $89.99. And it happened multiple days, $89 flat right there. So there is room to get this at a good price at that time. Let's go to the next set. So here is the Twilight Masquerade booster box. Now this one did kind of have a lot more demand than a lot of the other sets that came out in the Scarlet and Violet era. This was the first set that really kind of saw a spike in the demand. And so this set right here, you can see we're right at around 200, a little over 200 on the market price. So this is selling for over MSRP already, with the listed median at 220. Again, if we take a look at the 1 year chart, you could have gotten this low as $90 around release. There's a $90 sale there. And so today over at 200, that's over 100% gains. And this been a short time. This is under a year. And so you're going to see that reoccurring theme. I'm not going to tell you how much all this is going to make. Every set varies, but you can just look at the typical set and what it does over time. And so TCG Player only gives us 1 year of data, so I cannot show you much more than a year. So when we start getting into these older sets, you're only going to see the last year. And so that'll kind of give you an idea. You can assume that each set is spaced about 3 months apart. So let's go to the next one. So here we have Temporal Forces. This one came out before Twilight Masquerade. You can see we've got a market price of around 169, which is basically retail. And in the last year, there were multiple days that you could have got this for sub $100. Just so much opportunity to buy this one. And you could have bought it right there near the wholesale price. And today we're sitting at retail. And so this one has seen significant gains, even though I think that this is slightly weak when it comes to the quality of the set. There are some good cards in there, but to me, this is a weak set. All right, now I've got Paradox Rift pulled up, and this set is going for 160. Again, if we look at the 1 year chart, you could have gotten this one for as low as $77, which is significantly lower than wholesale. So that could have been a great deal. Now going for 160, it is essentially at retail. Obsidian Flames. This set was considered to be pretty weak when it came out. Not that many people really liked it. They thought Charizard was overhyped. It's a small set. Pull rates were too easy. People didn't really love opening this. And now today we're sitting at about 190 on the market. So this is now selling above retail. This did come out over a year ago. So it took it a long time for it to break $110. And then it just kept rising and rising. And then the bull run happened. And now it's up to 190. All right, Paldea Evolved. This was not really that hyped of a set when it first came out, and it has gained so much popularity due to the Magic card. Everyone loves the Magic card. It is a sick card, and so this is one of my favorite Scarlet and Violet, like normal sets, not a specialty set, but kind of a normal set, because you do have the chance to pull that Magic card. It is a really cool card. And so you can see here, we're sitting at a little over 200 market, and over a year ago you could have gotten it for $90. So if you're buying booster boxes for right around $90, you're hitting that mark every single time. That's a great deal. So now we have the Scarlet and Violet booster box. This is the base set for Scarlet and Violet block. And this is probably the least sought after set in all of the sets that have been made in Scarlet and Violet era, because you can still get it below retail. We're talking about $150 here. So it is one of the weaker sets out of all of them. But if you look at the 1 year chart, you can see same thing happened. You could buy it for as low as $75 at some point, and eventually it just started creeping up, creeping up. And so that's all of the Scarlet and Violet block booster boxes. So now we're going to transition into the Sword and Shield block. And this is where things get really interesting, because these products are over a year old, some of them 2, 3, and 4 years old. So now we're starting to look at the Sword and Shield stuff. Here is Lost to Origin. And so this was the last main series set that came in the Sword and Shield era. And this is the one with the Giratina. A lot of people want this Giratina, and they like opening this set. And you can see right here, we're at like 370, with market being 350, essentially 350 on the market price. But you can get the cheapest one, and you're right at 375. So market says 350, lowest price is about 375. And if we look at the 1 year chart, 1 year ago you're paying under MSRP, and it has just continued to rise. And so you're going to see this happen a lot in the Sword and Shield block, where stuff was going for MSRP. And so there was a change in MSRP between Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. So booster boxes in the Sword and Shield block were 144 pretty much. I think that's the price of it for retail, and now they're like 160. And so it was a little bit of an increase on the price, but this one has got solid results here. And the fact that it went up almost 400, if you can find one of these for 350, that's a good price. All right, next one. So I actually misspoke. This is the last one of the Sword and Shield block, and this is Silver Tempest. So Lost Origin came out right before Silver Tempest. For some reason, I got the order confused. But Silver Tempest here is right around 240. Looking at 240 with a market of 237. And if we look at the 1 year chart, again, you could get this below MSRP 1 year ago. And now it's sitting pretty good into the 200. So not as much gains as Lost Origin, but this is definitely a one that's starting to move. So here we have the Astral Radiance booster box. Now this one, it doesn't really have a ton of like huge hits. There is the Starmie with the Misty in it. That's probably one of the best cards in this set. And this one's going for right around 230. And you can get it for probably about that price. Let's see. Go to page 2. Here we go. So 215, 230. But that's 230 essentially, unless you buy 2 of them, then you get a little bit of a discount. So yeah, 230's market on Astral Radiance. And again, you'll see the same thing. A year ago, you could buy it below MSRP. So this is Brilliant Stars. Now this one is definitely performing a little bit better than Silver Tempest and Astral Radiance. And this one, there was a lot of supply on this one. You could buy this one for the longest time. And so you can see the market, we're at like 285 on the market. So this one is moving. 1 year ago, you could get this above MSRP. So this one, you could still get it at MSRP a year ago. Maybe not on TCG Player. It was selling on TCG Player for more than MSRP, but you could get it on the Pokemon Center website less than a year ago. So I do know you could have got this one for MSRP a year ago. Now we're starting to get to some of the fun here. So Fusion Strike. Now this one has got the Gengar. Everybody loves the Gengar. I love the Gengar. It's the one card I think out of the entire Sword and Shield block, other than the Umbreon, that everyone they would like to have that card. I would like to have that card in my collection. And you can see market on this one's about $450. And it was as high as 500, sells just shy of 500 there. So between 450 500 you should be able to find this box. And this one just, it was crazy because you could buy this one for the longest time for like 90 bucks. You could get a booster box for 90 bucks for this for the longest time. Let's look at the year chart. In the year, it just looks like it rose dramatically. It just, boom, it just happened. So, and for some reason, this chart is not accurate. There's something wrong with this chart because it quit showing data. This market price is at 450, so there's something wrong with this chart. The 1 month works, I guess. The 3 month works, but the 6 month chart is not working. So there's something wrong with that on TCG Player, but this 3 month, that's the most accurate chart we can see at the moment. And it just rose and went boom, almost all the way up to 500. And so as we kind of get closer to this sun and moon era, you'll see this happen with some more. All right, here is one of the most hyped sets in the Sword and Shield block. This one is crazy. It's crazy at how much this one went up. If you were holding on to this, you are sitting on some money. And so, Evolving Skies, the Umbreon, the Rayquaza, the Glaceon. There's a bunch of great cards in this set. Lots of people love to open it, even though it is a very, very hard set to pull from. And we can see that the market price on this is about 1,300. Highest sales about 1,500. Right now, you can get an unopened box for $12.66 plus $14.99 shipping. So you might as well say $1,280 after tax. $1,300 for a box, and you could buy these for $90 for a good while as well. Let's see if the 1 year chart will work on this. It does. And so a year ago, you could buy this for around $475. That was on the low end. $475. It stayed at $700 for a good long time. I remember when this box went up to $400. It went crazy, like from like $200 a box to $400 a box. Then it hit this another spike where it's at 700, and then boom, another one where it takes it all the way up to 1,300. And so there's a lot of demand for this box right here. And so I do believe that this will continue to rise over time. These boxes will be more and more sought after over time, especially with all the rip and shippers. All right, we have Chilling Rain here. So this came out right before Evolving Skies. And this one's sitting at just a little over 300, looking at about 320 on the market. And the year chart, you see this same story right here. You're getting it for right at retail, and it has more than doubled in price. And so you're going to see this same trend happen. So there's a doubling happening a lot after it hits retail. So here we have Battle Styles. And so Battle Styles was really the weakest set of the Sword and Shield block. Not a whole lot of demand for this set. If we look at the year chart, you could get this for under $100 a year ago. And so this one has been moving now, but it's taken this one a long time to start to move. And the demand just isn't that high with this, but we do see as the price has went up the demand for it has increased. That probably tells us that the value of the cards on the inside of the set are also going up. And so you're probably going to see the cards from this set also rise even more over time. And so here we have the Vivid Voltage booster box. And this one was available on the Pokemon Center website, just like Battle Styles, not that long ago. And so you could get this below MSRP or at MSRP just a year ago. And honestly, you could have got it from the Pokemon Center website for that price not that long ago, probably 2 months ago or less. They just recently sold out. And now you can see it's already up to about 190 a box. So this one has definitely went up. MSRP was on this was 144 and we're already at 190, and you could buy this box not that long ago. So here we have Darkness Ablaze. Now Darkness Ablaze, definitely not a strong set. Kind of the same thing you see with Vivid Voltage and Battle Styles. You could get it for about MSRP a year ago, and it's just now kind of getting up to that $200 range. Okay, this is the second expansion on the Sword and Shield block, Rebel Clash. And this one this one has been a little quicker to get some rise in price. It wasn't that great of a set, to be honest. There's a few people out there that really like it, but for the most part, there's not a huge audience for this. You can see that just not that many people are paying attention to Rebel Clash. And they also short printed this. This set right here was not printed to the ground like some of the other sets. So this one had a good opportunity to increase in value, although it just did not have a lot of love from the fans. All right, here we have the Sword and Shield booster box. And you can see this one is also kind of in that same range as Fusion Strike, sitting at about 430. Even though the market is actually at 350, there's just not as much supply with this one. With this one, it just hasn't really caught up yet. So if you're able to find this one for about 350, it would be good to pick it up because it's going to be about 450 in no time. So now we've taken a look at all of the Sword and Shield era boxes, and there are definitely some clear winners in this era. I definitely think that Evolving Skies, they take first place no matter what. Evolving Skies is just crazy. Everyone loves it, and that one has been going to the moon with the Moonbryon. But in a close second, I would say would be Fusion Strike. I still think it's very slept on right now with the price being 450. There's a lot of room for movement on that set in particular just because it has such a good chase. That Gengar is a very good chase card, and I believe the price of that will continue to go up even more, bringing the booster box price even higher. And then I think for the third winner, I would say would be Lost Origin. It's definitely one of the more pricier sets in that block, and I just don't think enough time has gone by for the demand to skyrocket. So that would be a set I would also be looking out for, would be that one. I wouldn't focus too much on any of the other sets that are less desirable unless you like it. Now, if you like it, chances are there's someone else who likes it. But now we're going to dive into the Sun and Moon era. And this is where things start to get a little crazier because these boxes have definitely aged a lot more. Some of these boxes are 8 years old. And so, that's not really that long, but it's been long enough for the supply to really dry up, and the demand has just caused these prices to just be extreme. This is where investors really kind of get their money back on a per item basis if they're buying at the beginning and holding to the end. This is where the magic kind of happens, I think, in this length of time. If you're not willing to wait to this length of time, you're not going to make those big, huge gains on each item that you invest in. So, Cosmic Eclipse, we're looking at a market price of around 11.5 with a lowest listing at 1600. And so, if you want this box, it's 1600. If you can find someone else sell it to you for around 11.5, that would be good. But it looks like the last sale, most recent sale, was 1,000. Whoever got that got a steal. This box is a $1,500 box all day long. Maybe even a $2,000 box. There's not that many of these left. The next one we're going to take a look at, SM11 Unified Minds. Now this one's had nice steady growth. This is definitely a box that I would be interested in. Just because this box has got demand and it's got steady growth. I mean, on the 1 year chart, it's just a beautiful 1 year chart where we go all the way down from like 600 all the way up to 800. Nothing too extreme. People are buying and it's just naturally going up in price. And we can see that the lowest is 1,300, even though market's at 836. Our most recent sale was at 1325, so this one's definitely moving up. Now we're going to look at SM10 or Unbroken Bonds. And you can look at this one and see that this kind of the same thing's happening. I just want to make sure that you guys are kind of seeing where the price range is per booster box once you start getting about this old. So right now it says market price is 700, but the most recent sale was 1100 with the lowest listed. Zero feedback here. I mean, if this is a true price, that's good, but it's zero feedback. I don't know if I would trust it. But Limitless Games, I would trust. 1998, and not because I know anything about them, but they do have the star. They're a hobby store. They've got 5,000 plus sales. This seems reputable to me. $2,000. So SM9, we've got Team Up Booster Box. Now this is a pretty popular set, and the price definitely reflects it. So the lowest listed is like $5,000. For this box right now, $5,000 is what you're looking to pay. And so this is what I mean by holding on to it, because there's only 3 people here that have this box available. And we're looking at $5,000 and then $6,000 for one of these boxes. So if you're willing to hold on to product for this long, that is what it's worth. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Now this was a popular set, so it is a little bit higher in the price, but I could definitely see this box continuing to rise over time. I don't know how much boxes will go up to. I do know that some boxes exceed $20,000 for some of the real old stuff, but this is pretty insane to me. $5,000 for a booster box, incredible. So here's the Lost Thunder box. This one's SM8, and market price says it's about $750, but the most recent sales at $1,000, and that's pretty much the only one that's listed. You can buy this from this person for $1,000. There is no one else selling this on TCG Player currently. Up next we have Celestial Storm. Again, this was a kind of a more popular set, but you're looking at about $3,000 for the lowest one. And that price has risen a lot over the last 3 months, because there was a sale right here for $1,000, $800. So back in January you could have got it for $800. Now the lowest listed is $3,000. So big gains happening right there. Next up we have Forbidden Light booster box. This one's definitely on the cheaper end for the Sun and Moon era at $700. And there are several copies right here at 700 and then 800. So this one's still got a few left out on the market. And now we have Ultra Prism. And this one's still a relatively good price. Some people like Ultra Prism. Not everyone did. But personally, I think it's a good set in my opinion. Ultra Prism right now going for $8.95, and there's several boxes here right around that price, but then it starts to go up. So this one I will expect to be going up in price pretty soon. Now here's one that I'm looking at, and I would very well compare it to where Battle Styles is today, and that would be Crimson Invasion. And we can look at Crimson Invasion. This box was just at $250 3 months ago. It's starting to rise more steadily. If you look at the last year, it really sat around this $200 mark for the longest time. Even though it is Sun and Moon era, this box has quite some age on it. It's just now starting to pick up in price. I do believe there's still a decent amount here, but it's not that many. So this one has the potential to go up quite a bit, in my opinion. I just don't think it's going to move quickly, and I don't think it's going to be an easy sell to someone who's pretty knowledgeable on the Sun and Moon era. So this is the third one, Burning Shadows. And this one is also priced pretty well, I think, for this era at $5.99. This one has steady demand. A lot of people like this set, and it's just been climbing. More recently, now that the since Surging Sparks kind of came out and everything's gotten bought up with the bull market, it's went up even more. But I do think this is a good performing set. I do think this is worth buying, especially if you had it, for 8 years now or however long. This would be, I think this was a good investment. I do think this will continue to go up. I do think a lot of people will want to open this again. And so this one right here, we have Guardians Rising, sitting at about $800. This one doesn't have as much demand as some of the other sets. Again, you see this big spike when the bull market started, but you had some slow sales here and there. This one is just a slow seller, but it's pretty good as far as it still grew in value, even though it was a slow seller. You see how much it's grown in value. All right, here we are on the final box. We have the Sun and Moon Booster Box SM01, the first box of this era, and that one is going for $328. So definitely on the cheaper side. But we can tell overall every single booster box from the Sun and Moon era is over $300, with the highest one being right at 4 grand, nearly $5,000, which is crazy to think that someone would pay that much for cardboard. But people do it. I don't know who's buying it, whether it's streamers or rip and shippers or just collectors. Somebody's buying these products that are that expensive, which is pretty crazy. And so I hope this video was very helpful to just help you realize like what age will do to these booster boxes. And maybe you got some insights just by looking at all of these booster boxes from these different eras to help you decide whether or not this is something that you're even interested in, whether you want to collect sealed collections or maybe you're more interested in the cards. These booster boxes are essentially just as good as blue chip stocks, because over the next 5, 8 years, every one of them has doubled. Some of them have tripled. Some of them have just went up tenfold or more, 20-fold. I mean, if you bought that, what was it? The tag team or team up. I'm sorry, the team up set. If you would have bought that for $100 and sitting on it now, that's $5,000 from 100. It's like a 50 or 500x or something crazy. I don't know. Crazy. At least 50x. I can't do the math right now. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this content, please smash that subscribe button and hit the like button. And just let me know what booster box in this range would be the one that you would want to buy the most if you had just unlimited funds? Which one would you buy if you just said it was paid for? I'm curious to know. All right, guys, that's it for my video. Thank you guys so much. And just remember, the hustle never stops.